Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1514, 1514. Hey, next one will be 1515. And you know what? There's not going to be a Sunday show. No. There's no possible way I can do it. I'm taking tomorrow off from my weekend job because I'm going to go down to Monterey and I'm going to pet a couple sea lions. Maybe. Mike's Daily Podcast. And I'm going to take my dog Basil the Boxer. And we're going to have a fun time. I'm going to visit Carmel as well. Mike's Daily Podcast. You know, I spend all this money living in California, so I might as well take advantage of it because otherwise it's like, duh, you live in a great state and everyone wants to move here except for all the idiots in other states who think that there's a lot to fear here. No. It's a good place. Mike's Daily Podcast. The traffic's crap. It's a little bit dense. And people sometimes will say things to you. Daily. Like, get out of my way. Podcast. Get out of my way. Yeah. No, actually, no one ever says that to me. But yeah, when you're trying to get over into the right lane next to you, and there's always a big truck right there, that's probably kind of annoying. But you know what? That happens anywhere, right? Am I saying something that makes any sense? Get out of my way. That's my whole point, is California is great, and you got to go and enjoy it. If you let's say you live in a state that you like, and someone just walked in, you should go to the place, take advantage of where you live, and go and visit places. Like if you live, like I used to, in Alabama, maybe take a drive over and check out some of the amazing things there. None come to mind. Oh, that place on the top of the hill in Huntsville. What's that called? Yeah, look who else walked in. That house. There's a famous old house. We went up there. That was cool. The old, go down to Big Spring Park. That's kind of neat to see in Alabama. See? There's everywhere you go. Look who people walked in. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the gift shop supervisor. A lot of people just stay in their houses and don't leave and stuff. That's true. All they do is watch TV all day or play their video games. I was talking with Sylvia yesterday. We had a coffee, and
here's today's podcast picture.
By the way, the place we went to, I'm not going to say their name because, well, they don't give me anything for free. And that's how this works, give and take. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's how it goes, I scratch your back, I scratch mine. My point being, as I saw Sylvia, as she was pulling up, and in the parking lot, and she comes out, she goes, this is going to be a little weird for you. And in her purse, her cute purse, because she's always got cute purses, she pulls out a big, I forgot to ask her what kind of smartphone she has. It's big. This big smartphone is playing my voice. This voice you're hearing right now. She was listening to my podcast, and all I can say is thank you, Sylvia. But she was talking about a recent trip she made to a place in Mexico that I had never heard of before. I have never been to this place. It's over in the very northern part of the Gulf of Mexico. And I will find that as soon as I open my Google Maps. But I was going to tell you what the podcast picture is. Last night, after I saw Sylvia, I walked my dog, Basil the Boxer. And it was kind of sad. By the time I got home, it was dark. So basically, my dog only saw me in the dark yesterday. That felt, I don't know. I felt kind of sad about that. And I know there's a lot of dog owners. That's all they see their dogs now this time of year in the dark. And, you know, I've just felt bad that we didn't get to enjoy the sunshine together. Because that's what he likes to do. Is enjoy the sunshine. You can't walk the trails in the dark. And we walk trails all the time, so. But we still had a nice hour-long walk in the dark and checked out some great Christmas lights. And there was one of the Christmas lights that we saw. This house fully decorated in Podcastro Valley. And you can see that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. Very Christmassy. And happy Hanukkah as well. You know, Sylvia was telling me about this place she went to in Mexico with her family, and she was talking about how some of the people in the family, like, you know, like on her husband's side, were not into exploring. Here they are, they've traveled all this way to this other place. They actually, I think they flew into, it was called, they went to, they were in Puerto Penasco, and that is right there, and it's actually pretty close to Arizona. And you also, you're kind of wedged there between the California border and the Arizona border, but they flew into Phoenix and drove over. I guess you could have gone as well from San Diego, gone through Yuma and done all that, but it probably was closer through Phoenix or Tucson. But yeah, Puerto Penasco, I never heard of that coastal town right there, the Gulf of California. She said the water was so warm because basically you're swimming in a huge lake that eventually opens up to the ocean way down there at the bottom of Baja California Sur. So you it wonderful trip. People not in her party, in her family, they're not going outside, not enjoying the great outdoors, and I don't understand that. And we're becoming a society of that, a big fat tub of society where we don't go outside, where we're afraid. We got the virtual reality, the augmented reality, and we're not going out there and enjoying what's out there. So we need to go out there. And that was my point. So, but the podcast picture is of that walk where we did go out there. And maybe I'm a little bit out there right now. But my point is that Roy Moore is a nut job. And I know I've talked a lot about Roy Moore in the past couple shows. I just want to read to you what he said in a statement. He said, today, we no longer recognize the universal truth that God is the author of our life. Okay, an election happens where you lose, and you are saying that God, here you are, you're a devout Christian, and you're saying that God has let you down. That's what he's saying in this statement. He is that, I know there's a couple verses in the Bible that talk about how you cannot say, your attempt to think what God is thinking, your attempt to think what God's motives are, you can't do that. For you to try is conceited, it is pompous, it is what was wrong with all the Pharisees back in the time where Jesus had to knock over their tables and throw all their wares out and say, hey, you can't have a flea market in the church, you idiots. You know, the pomposity of love. No, the conceit. I cannot believe this man. What he needs to do is become a preacher and have his little cult, his little weirdo group of people that follow him in Alabama somewhere, you know, have his little church and just go away. Because he was kicked out of the Alabama State Senate. We're talking the Alabama State Senate, not the California State Senate, not the San Francisco Board of Directors. He was kicked out of the Alabama State Senate, which means, you know, he's really out there. Too much so even for the Alabamans. And so the Alabamans said, you're nuts, get out of here. So he goes and says, because he lost, that God is no longer the author of our life and liberty. He said abortion, sodomy, and materialism have taken the place of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Right. Oh, I just sodomized someone on my way here. What is he saying? What is he? Oh my gosh. Okay, I will say we are way too much on the materialistic side here in America. We need to let that go. We're, you know, staying inside all day and not going outside and enjoying nature and enjoying the warm, unbelievable warm water of Gulf of California and enjoying some sightseeing, going down to Carmel like I'm going to do tomorrow, going out, getting out there in the fresh air. Fresh air is what I'm saying, not the wonderful Terry Gross show where she has about as much energy as a dead mouse. You have to... Hi, this is Terry Gross, and welcome to Fresh Air. I'm really excited today to have one of my favorite comedians, Louis C.K. God, how many times did she interview him? And regrets it now. So, I want to go to the small little town of Chihuahua in Mexico. No, I don't. Not at the moment. Anyway. Hey, Café Anyway. Welcome to the show. As Greg Proops says...
Anyway.
Let's get this show started now. Because it's way into the show now. Let's get it started. Can we get this darn show started? Ha. Hey, Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is a wonderful website to go to. In fact, you can tell me your personalized MP3 for the greeting thingy-majig. It goes to like this.
Mike's Yuletide personalized MP3 for thee contest.
Yes, please. All you got to do is tell me Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, something to that effect. And I will send you a special personalized MP3 for thee from all the Café Anyway characters. In fact, there were two we didn't even say hi to right now. Hi, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Yeah, that guy, Roy Moore, is pretty scary.
Oh, my.
I think we should actually maybe even possibly hear him say how we have forgotten God. Can we listen to that clip right now? Right now?
We have grown in numbers, wealth, and power as no other nation has ever grown, but we have forgotten God. We have forgotten the gracious hand which preserved us in peace and multiplied, enriched, and strengthened us. And we have vainly imagined in the deceitfulness of our own hearts that all of these blessings were produced by some superior wisdom and virtue of our own. We have stopped prayer in schools. We've murdered over 60 million of our unborn children. We've redefined marriage and destroyed the basis of family, which is the building block of our country. Our borders are not secure. Our economy is faltering under an enormous national debt. And we have a huge drug problem. We've even begun to recognize the right of a man to claim to be a woman, and vice versa. We have allowed judges and justices to rule over our Constitution, and we have become slaves to their tyranny. Immorality sweeps over our land.
Yeah, that's right. So a lot of people... So Steve Bannon said something to this effect. Can we get that clip on?
I know one thing. Nobody can come down here and tell folks in Alabama what to do. So tomorrow it's incumbent upon you to go get everybody you can.
Okay, so Steve Bannon basically was, we got to vote for Roy Moore. That's what America wants. He's a pro-Trump guy, and the rest of the Republican Party doesn't know what Roy Moore is all about. We got to get rid of Mitch McConnell. Got to get rid of Lindsey Graham. Got to get rid of all of them. They're all going to get primaried and get thrown out, is what Bannon was saying. So Luther Strange, who is in that position, who was put into that position that Jeff Sessions had when he left to become Attorney General and left the Alabama Senate, Luther Strange took over, and he was supposed to be the Republican candidate. He would have probably won, in my opinion, because the Roy Moore was so extreme, and the extremists came out to vote that election, the primary election for the and he lost. Luther Strange lost, and this is now what Luther Strange has to say about Steve Bannon.
Now, the president supported you in that primary. Many others did as well. Steve Bannon did not. He thought that a better, fresher, different, more rowdy alternative would be someone who was not you, someone who was not associated with the establishment, and he went for Roy Moore. How do you feel about him?
Well, I think he had a bad day yesterday. I was proud to have the president's support, the vice president's support, Richard Shelby's support, and for someone who'd only been in Washington for like 2 months at the time, I sure got to be part of the establishment. in record time. So hopefully we've had enough of that talk. We're going to be focused on getting conservatives who actually have records of accomplishment. I mean, that's what I was running on. I've actually gotten things done. We have a lot of rhetorical conservatives, like to talk a lot, talk a big game, but are they really getting something done? That's what we need in Washington.
Do you think Steve Bannon is that type of conservative?
I've never seen him accomplish anything. He has accomplished one thing that I don't think anybody in America thought was possible, and that's getting a Democrat elected in the state of Alabama.
And now, to even throw more salt in the wounds of Steve Bannon, you have Trump saying that maybe this Roy Moore thing was a bad idea, and you know what? Maybe we're better off. Maybe we dodged a bullet.
I think it's very important for the country to get a vote next week, not because we lost a seat, which we would have gotten a seat. A lot of Republicans feel differently. They're very happy with the way it turned out. But I would have, as the leader of the party, I would have liked to have had the seat. I want to endorse the people that are running. But I will tell you that to me, it's very, very important to get this vote. Not because of that, but because of and I don't know what the vote will be. I don't know what exactly the final. We have a margin now of 2, plus our great vice president. So I really, I think we're going to get the vote. But I will say we have to get more senators and more congressmen that are Republicans elected in 2018. And then you'll see a lot more of what we're doing right now.
Republicans have dodged a bullet. And the next election is... what is it, 2020 or even sooner? So Doug Jones won't be in that position long unless he gets reelected. We don't know, but anyway, that's done. I wanted to get that out there about what Roy Moore was saying about God and how he really is insane. And we're going to hear a lot more about this. And I'm so glad people didn't. It just the whole campaign of, they said Nancy Pelosi is. If you vote for Doug Jones, you're endorsing Nancy Pelosi and Gloria Allred. And those are evil women. It's just what's the deal with hating so much women in this world? And this brings us back to the sexual harassment. Somebody was talking to me saying, Mike, all the sexual harassment stuff, you got people that are being accused of sexual harassment. Well, I don't like it. This man said to me, this white male said to me, I don't like it because there's legal recourse. What can the guy say? The guy has to immediately step down. It's not fair, he said. And I said, okay. And I thought about it. The fact that it is the way it is because of his fault. It's because of all of the men's fault. It's all our fault that we have let this go on so long and turned our backs so long. And Mr. Weinstein had a whole network that stood behind him and covered up his tracks for so long that it's time. You know what? I always believe in the fair and balanced law of the person with the blindfold on holding the scales. And I'm not a lawyer. I don't even play one on TV. That's gone now. For the time being, it's gone because the backlash is now. The backlash is here and now, and all this has to be addressed, and it's all coming out, and it may be hard for a lot of men going, oh, what if I get accused? I'm going to have to hide under a rock. I don't know what to do. But you know what? That's what's happening now. So, but the people that are really guilty, they're going to be... the fingers are going to be pointed at them. I guess my whole point is whiny white men shouldn't complain at this point because it has been so bad for so long. Apps. I'm just going to jump to another topic here, and that is apps. People saying that the future of our economy is in apps. But I do not see how that is even possible when right now there is no room for apps on my phone. And I have even put a larger, what do you call it, disk in there, the chip, the thing that you stick in there to make it... I'm so technical. I'm such a techie guy. There's more memory now. I got a memory card in my phone. There is more room for memory. Yet, I still cannot put any more apps in my phone. If I do, I got to put them on the card. If the app allows me to do that, My point is, if the future of the world isn't of commerce and everything is in our apps on our phones, and you've got podcasters that want to make apps for their podcast, there's no room for apps. There is no room for apps. You got to make the phones. Now, I know the new iPhone apparently has a crazy amount of memory, but of course you got to pay $1,000 for this iPhone. But there is no room for apps. If you want to check out my website, you can do it through the app on your phone that is a browser. If you have Chrome on there, or what do you got, Safari on your iPhones, you can go to mikesdailypodcast.com and check out all the past podcast pictures and help out the show through PayPal. But if you want to, and there's a PayPal app, but I've got no room for stuff. I have stripped down. When people go, oh yeah, you should put this app on your phone. One person actually grabbed my phone and proceeded to download an app on my phone. I said, no, because there is no room. Now my phone's going to be clogged up. It's not going to move smoothly. And thank you. So I don't see how the future of commerce is going to rely so much on apps. If we can expand the memory, then we'll be able to do it. That's my whole thing. And I bring this up because I've had to delete apps in order to update the other apps that I want. I'll have to go in order to update apps that need updating. And you should always update apps, because then you are really defending yourself against any kind of virus. But to update some of my apps, I have to delete other apps that I want on my phone. And I have to keep doing that. And then today, I go, oh wait, this app needs to be updated. But I just updated that. What the heck? So it's very frustrating. Apps frustrate the crap out of me. Hey, that was a little poem. Apps. Craps. As we go outside of Café Anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. I hope you enjoyed this little rant. Puerto Penasco, you found out about that. I hope you enjoy your day. I'm off to a Christmas party a little bit later on. I can't wait. Net Neutrality's gone. Okay. We'll see how that goes. Are you even hearing me today? Or has the net completely barred me because I didn't pay enough money? Donations to churches may be more expensive because of the new tax plan. And CNN thinks that there are other states that could do what Alabama just did. What states are they saying? Nevada, Mississippi, Wyoming, and Nebraska. Okay. Interesting. While you're in Wyoming, you should really take advantage of your surroundings. Go outside, enjoy the fresh air. You've got your beautiful scenery that you can see in Wyoming. That's my suggestion. Get outside. And I'm going to call this show Outside. How about that? Okay. Trump will stop spouses of H-1B visa holders from working. Da. And that's... Miss Iraq was forced to flee the country over an Instagram photo. This according to Fox News. What? The photo, she posed with Miss Israel. Oh, at a Miss Universal International Beauty pageant. Ridiculous. Can I just tell you, talking with Sylvia, I lose track of time, and like 3 hours flew by. I was, what? And that's what you need to get outside and see your friends and talk and just lose track of time, because I think we spend too much time behind our phones and wrapped in apps that are craps. And finally, Amazon adds support for Spotify with multi-room audio on Echo devices. That sentence just meant something to someone somewhere, and if that did, good. Next show will not be on Sunday. We will not do the Super Secret Sunday show, for I am off on a trip tomorrow and not working on Saturday. So that means I got to do all my work that I usually do on Saturday on Sunday. So I'll be doing a Saturday and Sunday's worth of work on Sunday. So I'll be quite busy with my part-time job and not have any free time to do my podcast. So therefore, thus and henceforth, we'll have to do one on Monday, hopefully. But the next show, we'll have the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Have a great weekend.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!